everybody? Welcome to another Earlwink achievement list of achievement games video. We're just a bunch of words put together. But basically, today, if you can't tell by the title, which if you can't, then learn to read or something, please. Today, I'm going to be talking about 3 games that I gave up on Steam, getting all the achievements for. And by that, I mean games that I initially was like, yes, I'm going to get the achievements in this game, and then for some reason or another, which I will explain for each of them, I was like, you know what, actually, forget about that, I'm not going to do that. So, if you haven't seen any of my recent videos, my last few videos of this ilk, if you will, were my top 10, favorite games I did, and then I did, the 5 hardest. And then I also did the 3 that I'm never going to do, which is kind of vaguely similar to this one, but this is ones that I specifically planned to do and ended up giving up on. So, I feel like in the past videos I was talking way too much at the beginning before I actually started the video. So, let's just go right ahead and get into number 3. Alright, at number 3, we have Peace... Okay, I'm leaving that in. Number 3, we have Peace Death. Now, I at least at one point in my life, had a speech impediment where I couldn't pronounce the S sound, and it sounded like a TH sound. So saying Peace Death out loud, it's actually tougher than you'd think for me, even if I maybe don't have a speech impediment anymore, or maybe I do, I don't really know. But yeah, so I'm not going to call it Peace Death, because... that's not what it's called, but I did do that the first time. Anyways, let's actually talk about the game, and not the title of it. The reason I didn't do this one, let's just start with that, I guess. Well, actually, this is the only one of the 3 on this list that you probably haven't heard of. The other 2, I think it's very likely you have. So just a bit of background. This is a game where, you're going through, a list of, people, and you have to, accurately send them to heaven or hell or purgatory, I believe, are the 3 options. And then randomly, these random goons will show up and be like, I'm evil, and then you kind of got to deal with them when they show up. But yeah, for the most part, this gameplay loop is you got to be like, okay, you're either going to hell or heaven or purgatory. And it's based on, certain rules. I don't remember, verbatim off the top of my head, but I want to say it's, stuff like, oh, if they have, an eye patch, that means they go to hell. I don't think that's literally one of the rules, but it's things like that. So, based on what they look like and maybe what they say, I don't remember if that's part of it or not, you have to, decide, okay, well, I have the rules on who goes where. So, yeah, that's how you know what it's on. So, the gameplay loop of this game actually is fine. I didn't mind it. As you can see, crazy spread here. I only played this for 4 hours, but it was between April 2017 and June 2020. So that feels like a huge gap to me, because that's a little bit more than 3 years. But then to be fair, it's been almost 6 years since I've played this game, which does not seem like nearly as big of a gap as in between these, but it's actually much more. So now let's talk about what the achievements are like, and specifically why I decided to give up on them and not do them. First of all, I do like to appreciate, this is something I forgot about, apparently Jacket is in this game, as you can see right there, and if you take this video out of full screen, which hopefully you're watching in full screen because that means you're giving it your undivided attention, and you look at my profile picture, my profile picture is Jacket from Payday 2, so, and also on, Steam and stuff, actually, I guess I could have just shown you this. That's my Steam picture. So anyways, not to totally go off the rails here. But yeah, so that has nothing to do with what I was talking about. But anyways, and Kill Bill. Uma Thurman from Kill Bill also. Anyways, the reason I gave up on this is because there's so many levels, right? And of the same gameplay loop, there's Walter White. There's so many levels of this gameplay loop where, okay, you're sending people to hell or not. You're sending them wherever, blah, 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 blah. Keep going, right? but it just goes on for so long. And at a certain point, it's like, man, I know I only played for 4 hours, but if you look, the average completion time is 52 hours, which is insane because you're basically doing the same thing that whole 52 hours. Like, the whole game is sending people to heaven or hell or purgatory. And so, at the end of the day, the reason that it's on here is because it's just the same gameplay loop over and over, and it's like the median time is 52 hours. Realistically, you know, I tend to be below median on stuff, so like, realistically, even if it's only took me 35 or 30, that's like still way more time that I want to spend doing the exact same thing over and over. So I played it for a bit, and then when I realized, like, hey, I have to do this so much more to get the platinum, I'm like, you know what, let's just forget about that one. So yeah, that's all there is to say about this one. Kind of anticlimactic, but then now we'll go ahead and move on to the next one. Alright, next up we got one that I'm sure you've heard of, or at least probably so, and that is Overcooked. As you can see, I played for about 3.5 hours. I played only between 3 days, January 28th, January 30th, 2021. So that's a bit more than 5 years ago now. And I have 10 out of the 12 achievements, so it's like, well, you're almost there, Earl. I don't know who's saying that and why they emphasize the Earl so much, but... so you might be wondering, Earl, my good buddy, Earl, why would you give up on this one when you're so close and you only played for 3.5 hours? Let me explain it to you, friends. I don't know, man. Anyways, this game, okay, so first of all, I like to disclaimer a little bit. I recognize this game is meant to be co-op, or at least it's strongly recommended that you play with somebody else. And admittedly, I played this solo by myself. And that does, to my understanding, make the game not only not nearly as fun, or fun at all, really, but also it makes it considerably harder. And so, the reason I gave up on this one is because this game is, like, insane. It's, like, freaking the hardest game I've ever played. And I've done, check out my 5 hardest Steam Platinum, or Perfect Game, whatever, games video. Because I've done some that are, like, pretty hard. I did The Witcher 3, I did Resident Evil 7, those were kind of the more, like, ones you'd know from that video. Some of the other ones were random ones. But anyways, my point is, I feel like I have decent skill at playing games. Like, this is the only game I've ever given up on because it was too hard. And it's Overcooked. But basically, if you guys don't know Overcooked, it's basically just like, there's so many levels of like a cooking mini game, or, you know, it's like a cooking game. You have to prepare dishes and stuff. The specifics of the actual gameplay is not important if you aren't familiar, but you probably are. The problem is there's so many levels, and my last 2 achievements are just for finishing the game and for getting 3 stars on every level. The issue here is that at every so often checkpoint type situation along the like map of levels, you need a certain star threshold to like progress. I think that's kind of like a common thing in like mobile games, like Angry Birds probably. It's like in order to unlock the next level, you need to have gotten at least X number of stars on the previous levels, in addition to have just completed all. Like if you complete all the levels just with 1 star up to then, you're not going to have enough. You know what I mean? So you might have to go back and redo some other levels to get those extra stars. I could not physically do that. I got to a point where it's like, hey, you don't have enough stars to progress, and I could not improve on any of the levels. It was like, it didn't even feel physically possible. So I don't know if I'm trash at this game. I don't know if my strategy was, listen, like I said, I'd like to say that I'm alright at games in general. So I don't think my mechanical skill was necessarily the culprit here. So I can only assume, because this game is possible to do solo. It's not like it's never been done before. So I'm going to assume it's more of a strategical error on my part as why I couldn't do this. Like, I was doing something fundamentally wrong. It's not like I was like, oh, you're not getting to the one plate to the other fast enough. It's like, well, if I'm doing anything right, that is what I'm doing. So it's probably more of like I wasn't doing stuff in the most efficient order, things like that. But anyways, my point is not only could one of the achievements is to get 3 stars on every level. I couldn't even get enough stars on enough of the levels to progress, let alone get perfect on every single level. So I was like, you know what? Let's forget about this and never come back to it. Maybe in another world. Like, this one I might do eventually in another world if I'd end up doing it co-op, just because I think that'll make it a lot easier and make me not want to rip my eyeballs out. Because as you can see, this is only 11, median's only 11 hours, which, so that means, like, realistically, like, if I could probably do it in, like, 8 or so. So maybe I'll come back to it in co-op eventually. People, you feel free to flame me in the comments for sucking at Overcooked, which is, like, a kids game adjacent. It's really not, but, like, I'm sure I mean, it's like on the Switch, which doesn't mean it's a kid's game, but like it was on the Switch 1, which kind of means it's a kid's game. So I'm sure an 8-year-old out there has beaten this game solo and like gotten all the stars like at age 8. So feel free to flame me in the comments for shucking at Overcooked. But yeah, I gave this one up because it was just way too hard, and apparently I suck at cooking. Alright, at number 1, we have Lego Worlds. As you can see, I put a lot more into this one. I have 30 hours playtime. Again, I'm only missing 2 achievements, but this time it's 2 out of 71 that I'm missing, and not 2 out of 12. I have 69 out of 71. And I got these achievements between November 2017 and June 2020, which is uncannily similar to the spread for Peace Death that I talked about first in this video, and I did not realize that until right now when I'm looking at this. So, with me having so much time and so many of the achievements, you're probably like, what could possibly have driven me to give this up? And let's talk about it. So, first of all, if you don't know this game, it's kind of hard to describe because it's unlike pretty much all of the other Lego games. It's not like your Lego Batman or your Lego Harry Potter or anything like that. It's basically you drop into it's actually more like it's kind of more like Lego No Man's Sky. I think this game's probably actually older than No Man's Sky, and it's kind of more like Lego original No Man's Sky that sucked. Is how I would equate this. Not that this game sucks, but it's a Lego game, so it's like, you know, it's not gonna be like, it's not winning Game of the Year. But basically, you're a spaceman and you're flying. I don't think spaceman is officially recognized term for astronaut at this point, unless you're 5 years old. But you're a spaceman and you're flying around in your Lego ship, and you land on different Lego worlds, as you would probably guess by the name of the game, and they're procedurally generated, hence the No Man's Sky comparison. And each world has like a different biome, or like it has a different theme or something. Like there's like the swamp worlds or blah blah blah, and then it procedurally generates based on whatever theme you're in. And then there's also, each world has like certain like structures that can generate like based on the biome and stuff, and different minifigure characters that you'll run into, and different blocks and stuff. And basically, I believe the way this game works is you like scan. There's also like quests, by the way. Like random guys will be like, "Hey, go find this and bring me this." And that's also procedurally generated, sort of. I mean, it's like each, I don't know if it's by type of world, but each one has like a certain number of like quests that can possibly spawn, you know what I mean? And it's random which ones you get. So you do those, you get Lego bricks. You can also, I think you scan like the different like Lego stuff you find, and that lets you build those items later. And then there's also these little green guys that run around, you have to tackle them and to get their bricks. And then there's a lot. The majority of achievements in this game are one-off stuff, besides getting all the gold bricks, I guess. But like that pig one, you got to take a picture, ride a shark on land, ride a sheep. You know, it's a lot of one-off stuff. Dive for 3 minutes, play an instrument next to another player who's playing a different instrument. You know, stuff like that. have 5 squirrels falling at the same time, ride a badger. The huge majority of these are one-off. So, like, if you were doing this optimized, you could get as far as I did in less than 30 hours. And I know the median is 50. You could probably do the whole thing in less than that. But let's talk about why I stopped doing this one. The point of how all this stuff works is at least that since it's all one-off, you're, or it mostly is, and there's questions of it, there's new worlds, it doesn't really get old while you're doing everything else, except what I haven't done, because it's like, you're seeing new stuff pretty consistently. I fairly enjoyed getting the achievements I did get in this game. And then there's also these DLCs. I think each one added one more, like, type of world. Like, this one added a space world, and this one added a monster world, and then there was just a few more, like, one-off achievements for each pack. But we have 2 achievements here that are stopping me from doing this, and it's because these 2 are insanely grindy out of nowhere compared to the whole rest of the game. First, we'll talk about the billion studs thing. A billion is so many compared to like the stud economy of this game. Like doing all the other achievements, you're going to have a negligible percentage of the billion. Like, regardless of how long it takes you and how many studs you get on your way to doing this achievement, it's not going to matter. It's going to be it's really going to be negligible. I don't know off the top of my head, but like I think realistically you're going to have less than like 10 million, which means that's 1% of the way there, if my math is correct. So it's like, it doesn't matter what you get there. The way to get this achievement, there's like a safe deposit box item you can spawn or something, and when you destroy it, it gives you a decent amount of studs. And so basically what you can do is you can spawn a ton of safe deposit boxes and then destroy them all, and then that gives you a bunch of studs. That's the most effective and efficient and fastest way to do this achievement, because I did my research because I was planning on doing it eventually. And even doing that, it takes, I want to say, like 1 to 3 hours of doing that straight to get this achievement. I don't know if that's exactly right, because I feel like I saw a video of somebody doing it in like 40 minutes, but I feel like it's not super realistic unless you're really sitting there sweating it out for 40 minutes. So I'd say more realistically, you're looking at like maybe up to like 2 hours or so of doing that straight, which doesn't sound too bad, but it's like doing literally the same thing of spawn a bunch of boxes, destroy them all, rinse and repeat for 2 hours. That doesn't really sound fun to me. I don't really feel too inclined to do that. So that's one of the achievements that suck. As you can see, it says grind right there. The other one that sucks is this Designer's Delight. And for that, you have to collect all of the brick elements. Now, that means nothing to you if you haven't played this game. Even if you have played this game, unless you've gotten this achievement, that probably means nothing to you. What that means is, in every map or whatever, I don't know if they're in a chest, to be honest, because it's been a while, but I want to say they spawn in a chest. There's like certain structures that spawn, and in these structures, there may be a chest that has a brick element in it. And I don't even think that's a guarantee. I think you can find other stuff in the chest also. And so, if this is your last achievement, basically what you have to do is just keep spawning a world over and over, scour it for chests, open it, find those chests, and open the chest and hopefully get a brick element and rinse and repeat that. Again, the way I'm describing these probably doesn't do justice, but it's because it's so monotonous. There's a guide on here on Steam Hunters, which is weird. This achievement is a bit of a time sink, this guy says. And this guy says, if you've gotten brick elements in a short time span, you get them less often, so you should wait a day of real time before looking more. See, this is insane. This guy doesn't give any time frame for how long this should take, and off the top of my head, I don't remember. But this is so dumb. You end up, this guy's saying first hunt down troublemakers forever to get all the ones you can get from them. But then you just have to keep spawning worlds over and over and looking for chests and opening them. That's not fun. It just takes forever. And And so, again, sorry, I don't know how well justice I'm doing this because if you never played this, I think I'm probably explaining this like shit. But, yeah, the point is, this kind of sucks. And both of these achievements, that and the billionaire one, are not so much hard, like Overcooked was. It's just a lot more tedious, and the fun levels were actually pretty decently high for everything else in this game. But then these last two are literally each just like do the exact same action over and over for hours potentially. And it's like, I really don't want to do that. So, with that being said, I think realistically, Peace Death is the only of the three games I talked about in this video that I'm never going to do for sure. Like, there's an outside chance I'll come back to do this one or come back to do Overcooked. Probably Overcooked is more likely. But, yeah, I don't know. I did kind of start to grind the billionaire achievement, and I'm like, this is boring as shit. I'm not doing this anymore. And that's the last time I touched this game, so that was probably in June 2020. So it's been 6 years. Maybe I've been sufficiently rejuvenized, and I'll do it eventually. But I don't know. Thanks for watching. Sorry to totally abruptly end this video and go from one sentence to immediately ending the video. But yeah, if you like this one, please subscribe, and please leave a like, and please comment. If you have any questions for me, leave a comment out. There's a 99% chance I'll respond to you within like a day. So go ahead and do that. If you liked this video, or you didn't, and you wish it had been better, either way, I have uploaded, like I said, a few similar videos lately, so go ahead and check out my channel. And if you like this one, then you'll probably like those ones as well. And if you didn't like this one, then maybe those other ones you will like. So you might as well give them a try. And even if you don't like those ones, then at least you're giving me a view. And also, you can feel free to leave a comment about how much you hate the video if you want, because that'll help the algorithm also. So anyhow, thanks for watching, everybody. If you have any ideas also for like similar videos to this that I should make, like my top 5 blah 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 games or blah 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 games, like list type videos of games I've done, go ahead and leave a comment and tell me what that is. If it's a good idea, I'll do it, probably because I'm starting to run out of ideas. I have one more off the top of my head, which is just my 5 worst, like my 5 least favorite ones that I did. Which you would think would have been like the second one I did after my favorite, but some of the other ones I thought made better videos. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you like this, subscribe. Peace out, folks.